How's it going, everybody? I've gotten a lot of positive comments from my last build I did. I never did any test hands with it, but really the combos haven't changed too much. You just end on a Psi-frame Gear Gamma as well as all the other stuff that I have on all of my other combo videos. And really, this one isn't that much different either. I'm sort of a creature of habit with this deck. I still run Guard Dragons, for example. I know a lot of people have been switching to the Virus Berserker type packages with Shade Brigandine. I don't like that because I like getting the Ningirsu draw 3 off. That's my favorite part about this deck. And it's pretty hard to get the Ningirsu draw 3 and find a way to get him co-linked. So I'm not running it. You can, of course, if you want to. It is definitely a good build. I'm not knocking that build. I just like mine a bit more. But the last time I uploaded was right before Called by the Grave got hit, and that was at 3 in my last list. So I figured I'd do an update for you guys, maybe some test hands as well. But this is what I'm working on right now. I am, if you don't know me, I do run pretty weird stuff in this deck, but I have math that I like to back it up with. So we'll get into it. You start off with 3 of the World Chalice. Of course, this is the namesake of the deck, and you're going to run it at 3. It's a tribute rescue rabbit, if you will, and it also can search a card on your 3rd turn after it's been sent to the grave, or 4th if you want, 2nd. And it can also send extra deck monsters to the graveyard if you sacrifice it on the field, so it's a good interruption piece as well if you can manage to keep it on the board. It's pretty easy to revive with some of the revival spells you run in this game, this deck. So, very versatile card. Lee is the next best thing to draw after World Chalice if you don't draw it. So I run it at 3 as well. It's just there to search World Chalice, but it can also search other stuff if you've already got World Chalice in hand and you want, I don't know, for example, Impermanence protection with the dragon. It also has a very useful effect for Guard Dragon. The Link Guard Dragons, that is. It can send them from the field to the graveyard and add it back to your hand, which comes up a lot. It's actually used in every single one of my combos for Ningirsu draw 3s, so that you can special summon more stuff out that aren't dragons. And we have 3 World Chalice Guard Dragon. Very situationally, this can be full combo if you have a normal extender and a level 2 fairy monster. So that's useful, I guess. But other than that, you run it at 3 because it's Guard Dragon material, and it's better than Chosen by the World Chalice, which is the other one I'm running. So I like seeing it in my hand a bit more. But you do need normal monsters, so if you want 2 of these and 2 of these, very easy to get away with that. That's just fine. I just happen to like 3 and 1 myself. Chosen is the only normal monster from the World Chalice line that I'm running. I'm running lots of non-World Chalice normal monsters. But he's the only one I'm running because he can be summoned out with E-Telly, so I think that he is the best at the current time. We got 3 Venus. Venus is the big play of the deck. World Chalice decks are often judged pretty much exclusively on what combo they can come up with for Venus and the 3 Shine Balls, which also, of course, go with her hand in hand. And, well, my deck has a 1-card Venus combo. Not all decks have 1-card Venus combos. A lot of them do, but mine is designed to not need Venus. It's nice if you get Venus, and you're definitely looking for Venus if you don't open it, but it's very easy to combo without Venus in this deck. So that's something that I really like about it. Even though I feel like my deck is very consistent with reaching Venus, I have so many ways to find Venus in this deck that there's very few times. I wouldn't say very few. You're using Venus combos about half the time in my deck, which is a lot better than the 33% chance that you would normally have if you were just running the Venus. But yeah, other than that, Venus is pretty self-explanatory. I am running 3 Herald of Orange Light. Called by the Grave got hit. Granted, I was still running this at 3 before Called by the Grave got hit because I like it better. It stops Nibiru, which is super solid. and it is a level 2 Light Fairy, which does come up a lot in my particular build. Also, I'm running a metric butt ton of fairies, so this is live all the time. We got Eva and Trickstar Lilybell to round out the fairy package. And they're just there for the Venus combo. They're required if you want to make Venus a 1-card combo, so I definitely like that. Some people run Watapon. A quick note, I don't see why you'd ever run Watapon over Trickstar Lilybell, just because you can summon it off of Saryuja. This one you can't summon off Saryuja, but it can attack for a game with 800 in time, and it's also a level 2 Light Fairy, whereas Watapon is a level 1 Light Fairy, and that doesn't go with Transmodify, unless you're looking to summon Lee with Transmodify, which is nowhere near as good. So I would always stick to using Trickstar Lilybell. We got 3 Parallel Exceed for a very particular purpose in this deck. I don't use it for Trap Tricks Rafflesia. There is a better card to use it on, in my opinion, in this build specifically, and I will discuss that in a second. Red Eyes, Darkness Metal, because it facilitates an Ngirsu draw 3 incredibly consistently. So that's that. You summon it with LP, and then it does its job, and then you throw it away like Link Trash. We got a Happy Lover. This was one of the weirder cards I run, but I'm very attached to this card. It's very good. It lets you summon Venus without using your normal summon if you open Unexpected Die and Transmodify. Other than that, the normal monsters you run in World Chalice do not matter. Just make sure that your normal monsters work for you. I wanted a level 2 Light Fairy, and the only other one in the game besides Mystical Shine Ball is Happy Lover. So this lets me pair Unexpected Die with Transmodify for really awesome effects. It lets me play through more hand traps than I otherwise would be able to, especially if you open the Unexpected Die Transmodify with another combo or a Venus or something like that, which happens quite a bit. And I am running Harpy Lady, and while Harpy Lady is out, I might as well discuss these trap cards. So this might seem like another weird choice, but once again, I emphasize the normal monsters you run do not matter. Anywhere from 5 to 6 normal monsters is about right for this deck. That's what everybody runs, so there's really no reason why you can't run Harpy Lady. It can be summoned out with Unexpected Die, or you can just hard draw it. And if you do that, you can play Harpy's Featherstorm, and that shuts off every single hand trap except for Impermanence. And that's reactive. You can wait until they hand trap you and waste that hand trap and then play Harpy's Featherstorm. So that is really, really, really powerful, and there's more than just Harpy Lady that you can activate this with. This is any Harpy card at all, or any Winged Beast monster at all, really. So we have some cards in our extra deck that'll help facilitate that. Also, this is playable from the hand, like, what's that card that got limited? Red Reboot. It's been a while since I played with that, sorry. So this is just phenomenal. Really, the only thing that this conflicts with in the deck is the Shade Brigandine, because it puts a trap in the graveyard. But that's very fixable, because you can just activate Shade Brigandine before you use this. Nobody's gonna... Actually, there isn't really even a hand trap that works on Shade Brigandine unless you use it before you use Venus, and then you summon 5 monsters and they try to Nibiru that. But that would be a stupid choice. We won't do that. But I really like this engine. It's better than the Gameciel engine, if you ask me, because it's the exact same number of cards, except it has the potential to stop every hand trap in the game except Nibiru. And if you end with Harpy Lady or a Winged Beast extra deck monster on the board at the end, it's pretty much just as potent as Gameciel. Monster effects are mostly what you're negating anyway. This doesn't negate Speller Trap's example. So technically Gameciel's better if you want to run Gameciel, but I think that this is worlds better than Gameciel. And yeah, that's Harpy Lady, another weird choice. The star spell of the deck is Transmodify. And just to give you a bit of math on why I like Transmodify specifically in my deck. So the normal deck for World Chalice, it's pretty standard to only run Lee and the Shine Balls for level 2 Light Fairies. So that means that you have a 9.8% chance of using Transmodify with only Lee. Of course, you don't want to Transmodify the Shine Balls. You will if you can. And if you include the Shine Balls, you have a 17.29% chance of getting Transmodify off if you say, hey, what if I draw Transmodify plus Lee or Shine Balls? My deck, with all the level 2 Light Fairies I'm running, and with the Unexpected Die summoning up the Happy Lover, all that accounted for, I have a 28.87% chance to open Transmodify with an appropriate target for Venus. And if you're not including the Shine Balls or the Lily Bell, which are the most unfortunate things to Transmodify, you're looking at a 24.27% chance. So that is a lot better. And the deck's consistency really isn't hurt at all because of that. Those cards that you are using Transmodify on, they're not only there to be used to Transmodify into Venus. Happy Lover is still a normal monster. Normal monster plus World Chalice in your hand is still combo. Normal monster plus normal extender plus Lee in your hand is still full combo. It's still a combo piece. It's just a more convenient combo piece than another chosen. And the Lily Bell, it's used for the one-card Venus combo, and the Heralds are used to stop hand traps. So all of them have sort of dual purpose of being something that adds to the deck and then being a great target to use Transmodify on. So I really like Transmodify in this list. Unexpected Die is probably the glue of the deck. It's what makes all the non-Venus combos work, really. That or Shade Brigandine. But you need a normal extender or a normal monster in your hand at the very minimum, or you're going to lose that round. You're not going to win. You absolutely need a normal monster to make Imduk. That's what the root of all combos is using your Imduk to get an additional normal summon so you can get your World Chalice effect monster off. Oh, excuse me. And, so this is an automatic 3 of. Anything less than 3 of Unexpected Die is completely wrong, in my opinion. You want as many starter cards as possible because World Chalice really doesn't have any starter cards of its own. So we have to use cards like Venus and Unexpected Die to make starting plays possible. Emergency Teleport is just another Unexpected Die. Realistically, though, you're normally going to be drawing this off of either your Ningirsu or your Saryuja because you'll have drawn through way more of your deck by then. It's just way more likely you'll encounter it later. So try to save your Chosen if you can. But if not, Unexpected Die. Emergency Teleport is a great normal extender. It's also great for making Leeb at the end or IP Masquereno. Very, very versatile card. Much more versatile than Unexpected Die, but not quite as good at starting plays since you can only get one normal monster, the Chosen, as opposed to using Happy Lover or Harpy Levy, which are way more preferred because they offer up great follow-up plays in either Transmodify or Harpy's Featherstorm, respectively. Monster Reborn is good in pretty much any combo deck, so is World Legacy Succession. If your opponent negates and destroys your Venus, you can reborn it when you're going second, or this is searchable off of Leeb if you've already drawn your counter trap. So that's why I'm running those. We got 3 Shade Brigandine. I bounce between 2 and 3 of this card, just because it's hard once per turn. I don't like running a lot of hard once per turn cards, but it's a starter card and we need starter cards, so I'm running 3 of it right now. So yeah, you can play it at 2 though if you want. It's fine at 2. I just want to maximize my chance of getting that normal monster extender so that I have less chance of breaking. And finally, the last card is World Legacy's Sorrow. Not Succession, we already talked about that one. This is your main negation piece in the deck. My deck doesn't set up 10 million negates. It sets up a couple negates and a couple interruptions, and it does so very consistently. Of course, there's plenty of boards that, there's plenty of builds that can make God boards with 7 negates and 4 material Appaloosa, stuff like that. I don't even run Appaloosa. Once again, you can if you want to. There's so many awesome builds out there with the 5 negate boards. But this deck's a bit different, and this is the main negation piece that you're using. You're getting it off of your Leeb set. And that's all of the cards. I think it's 43 cards in total. For the extra deck, the World Chalice lineup is, and the big weakness of my build is that the extra deck is just so unflexible. I have 14 spots that I pretty much consistently use up for my combo. Well, realistically more like 11 spots, but I have a package that I'm very fond of that I run every single time. So, but you have the 2 Imduks. Imduk's the best link 1 for any archetype ever because it gives you an extension of hand and an additional normal summon that would literally be banned in any other meta deck. So we definitely want to run Imduk. I'm only running it at 2 because that's the bare minimum I can get away with. I don't know how people. I've seen a very few select decks run only one Imduk. I don't know how they do it. Imduk's just too good to not run at one if you ask, or at least two if you ask me. 2 Ebe. That's just for more combo stuff. If you want to, you can run an extra leave instead, but I like two Ebes just because the arrows are a bit better for the main monster zones where you're normally going to be putting her. 1 Aurum, he is a monster reborn. He sacrifices a World Chalice to reborn anything from your graveyard, not just other World Chalices. So he is very good, very necessary for the Guard Dragon plays to get a Saryuja draw 4. I use him to revive a Guard Dragon to make the Pisty Guard Dragon, and then that's how I get my Saryuja off. But I'll show you that later. And we have Ningirsu. This is the card I built the deck around. It is, I would say that my build is probably one of, I won't say the most consistent. I'm not like super arrogant or anything, but I will say it is probably one of the most consistent Ningirsu draw 3 decks out there right now. I think that I have more hands that lead to Ningirsu draw 3, and I specifically focus on keeping Ningirsu on the board after I summon him because I think his removal effect is incredibly powerful. It does not target or destroy, and lots of people are summoning out Avermaxes these days because he's really hard to get over. Ningirsu just eats him up, so I really like Ningirsu a lot. Link Spider is what allows you to run so many normal monsters, and they don't slow you down. They become extenders that can be turned into Imduk that can really start your plays off, whereas there are many combos where you just can't do them without Link Spider, so I definitely would not disinclude him. Well, if that's a word, it is a word now. Union Carriers for the Venus combo. I've shown many Venus combos on this channel, so take your pick. It does the same thing in every single one of the combos. It gets Eva onto the field so that you can send it to grave. Many people are cutting Guard Dragons, but I still like them. I think that they consistently give you Ningirsu draw 3s, so that is why I run them. And, well, Elfie gives you consistent Ningirsu draw 3s. Pisty gives you consistent Saryuja draw 4s, so together they are sort of like the glue of my draw engine in this deck. I run the Saryuja. His draw effect is just as important as a special summon effect because he gets more stuff on the board, which lets you link into dangerous things that stop your opponent from doing stuff. This package right here is technically cuttable. I know, right? It's so weird to think cutting Leeb. I don't see why you would ever not run Leeb, but it's not necessarily required in this deck. It just, you know, it's a really good card in any World Chalice deck. But all it's here to do is set the World Legacy Sorrow and then be a link material into Avermax. The cool thing is, though, if you pair it with IP Masquerena and you bounce it on the opponent's turn, you have an interactive shuffle into the deck, which is that's really, really, really powerful. It doesn't target, it doesn't destroy, it just shuffles it into the deck. And I believe it's any card, not just monsters. Yeah, it's literally any card. A field spell, if you want, can be shuffled into the deck. I don't know why you would shuffle a field spell. Maybe like you don't want the Numeron cards to go off or anything, but really powerful piece of interruption. And it summons, because Masquerena was used, it summons an untargetable, undestroyable Avermax that your opponent has to attack and can't get over with special summoned monsters. So you have automatically limited the amount of things that can get over Avermax to a very select number of cards. And yeah, Boral Sword doesn't beat it either. The way the timing works out, it always increases its attack after Boral Sword increases its attack, so it's always going to be doing 3,000 to any link monster it attacks, or any special summoned attack monster that it attacks, or that attack it. So Avermax is my preferred boss monster for this deck. I like it more than Appaloosa, but feel free to run Appaloosa if your heart desires. And the last card is Harpy Conductor. Conveniently enough, this needs to be made by 2 wind monsters, which Parallel Exceed is. Parallel Exceed's only real purpose in this deck, although you could use it for extending, is to summon Harpy Conductor after you summon Saryuja, or after you summon Leeb if you don't draw it by Saryuja. And all it's supposed to do is sit there on the field and be Harpy Lady, because you're probably going to have some Harpy's Featherstorms after drawing through the 5 cards in your opening hand and the 3 cards for the Ningirsu draw 3 and the 4 cards off of the Saryuja. That is 12 cards that you're going through in your extra deck, and all you need to do is find a 3 of. And a way to summon her, which is really not that hard. You have wind monsters in the deck out the wazoo. You have your Imduks and your world Chalice Guard Dragons and your Parallel Exceeds. So she is not hard to summon at all in this deck. And she facilitates one of the most powerful pieces of interruption in the game in Harpy's Featherstorm, because it's incredibly hard to stop. There's a lot more monster negation effects than there are trap negation effects. And it shuts down every last monster effect your opponent would do for that turn, which lets you just slam in with your Saryuja and your Avramax and her and your Ningirsu, which can get rid of the monster that they summon because of its effect is super powerful. So that is the main purpose of this deck, is to set up that sort of interruption. She's not required to get on the field, but you really want to see either her or the normal Harpy Lady to activate your Featherstorm. Your chances of winning increase drastically if that's the case, which it often is. So that is the main build I'm running now. Of course, you can include things like a 1-of Called by the Grave to change it, or you could take out the Guard Dragons and run the Virus Sword package if you want, or you could oh gosh, you could even take out the Harpy Lady package and run the Gamma package that I showed in my other video as well. That's just as good, if you ask me, only because it really improves your going second turns. Not turns, your going second rounds and matches. Lost my train of thought there. But all of those are really great packages. However, the combos are the same. It's those 14 cards in the extra deck that I showed you. And the 1-of little engine requirement in your extra deck, either Harpy's Conductor or Cyframe Driver. That's the main point of the deck. I'm going to shuffle up a bit and try and do some test hands for you guys now. So sorry the video is getting long, but people wanted a profile and test hands all at once. So I will give this a good shuffle, and we'll do some test hands and see what we get. But all my cards are sorted, so I need to shuffle for a bit longer than I would normally shuffle. I don't really want a pile shuffle, though. That takes way too long. And I don't have like editing software on my computer, so there's a timestamp where the shuffling stops and the video continues, if you want to click that in the description. And I apologize if I break, but sometimes that happens, especially if you shuffle poorly. Shade Brigandine, Emergency Teleport, Lee, World, Legacy, World Chalice, and Transmodify. Well, that's not a brick at all. There's so many things we could do. I'll put things upside down for you guys so that you can see more easily. So here's our hand. We could do any number of routes here. We could use Lee plus Transmodify is a full combo. That's a full combo. What else? What else? That's a full combo. That's a full combo. We're gonna do we'll do the Venusless combo. Normally, if I was doing this though, I would probably just do the combo that takes the minimum amount of requirements, which would be the Transmodify combo. But I'm going to do a Venusless combo because I think those are a lot more rare nowadays. People aren't seeing those as much. So we'll go with that. I'm going to activate the Phantom Knights of Shade Brigandine and link it off into an Imduk. And I want to just make sure you guys can see this properly. Yeah. All right. Awesome. And then I'm going to normal summon Lee. We already have the World Chalice in hand, so if our opponent ashes us here, that is absolutely outstanding. But we're going to get the World Chalice Guard Dragon. So yeah, just to be clear, this hand can play through 1 Ash, if your opponent ashes you there. And then we're going to use our Imduk's additional normal summon, sacrificing to get the World Chalice. Next, we're going to link off, and we're going to summon our Aurum. And we're going to chain block, so we can once again play through Ash if they were super smart and tried to save it. We are going to activate our World Chalice as Chainlink 1 and our Imduk as Chainlink 2, special summoning out our World Chalice Guard Dragon from hand and getting our 2 World Chalice monsters from deck. We're going to get another Guard Dragon, and actually I'm just going to keep everything in attack mode to make it easier for space. And we'll throw those down a bit. Hopefully you can see the hand still, sort of. We'll get another Lee. Actually, we need a normal monster in grave, so we'll get Chosen. It's a bummer that we are now turning off our emergency teleport, but I don't think it'll matter in the long run. We're going to link off those guys into our Ebe, and we're going to link off our Guard Dragon into the Golden Guard Dragon. And he will get us our Red Eyes, Imagine Guard Dragons, and World Chalice in 2020. Red Eyes is going to revive Imduk. It has to be Imduk, because we need a link monster to make an Ngirsu. And we're going to use Lee's effect to send Elpie to grave, to add her back to hand. And we're going to activate Guard Dragon's Graveyard effect, banishing it to special summon that normal monster we got. Alright, now we are going to... And looking back, I sort of misplayed. I probably should have used Emergency Teleport first and saved the Shade Brigandine. So you actually could have done better than I am doing in this hand, because I am now down an extender, whereas I could have had one. But I'm going to link these two guys off into a another Ebe. Here's Ebe. And we will link those off, 2 link monsters, into Ningirsu, activating Weeb or Imduk's effect to special summon, or both if you want to chain block. I don't know why you would chain block something that's really hard to hand trap, but you could theoretically throw it in attack mode. Summoning that, and then, of course, Ningirsu was Chainlink 1 since it was mandatory. So we will draw our 3 cards. Transmodify, Featherstorm, and Venus. Oh, cool, we found Venus. It's very unlikely you won't find a way to draw Venus. We also could have drawn any level 2 Light Fairy since we have Transmodify. But Aurum's going to activate his effect, sending the Lee to grave, special summoning the Guard Dragon. And this is how we're going to make our Saryuja. We're going to make Pisty first, and then Pisty is going to revive the banished World Chalice Guard Dragon. You could also, if you were fearful of Called by the Grave in later rounds, I don't think it's going to come down to a grind game if we've made it this far, though. But might as well use the banished, and now we have 4 materials that saves our Ningirsu, because it feels so bad using a Link 3 as a 1 material for the Saryuja. And it's here where you could summon any number of World Chalice monsters in your hand if you wanted for extension. Fortunately, we've drawn Venus, so really all we're looking for is a way to get our Harpy's Featherstorm live. So we'll draw 4 cards. Let's see what we got. We got a... Ooh, we drew all 3 Transmodify. Such horrible luck. But we have Venus and World Legacy Succession and Monster Reborn and World Legacy World Chalice. I'm going to put back all 3 Transmodifies because we just don't need them. And let's see what we can make here. So the first thing we're definitely going to want to do is... We're going to want to summon Venus first. And we're going to summon Venus way out of the way over here. And Venus is going to get our Shine Balls. We did that with Saryuja's effect, by the way. That's how we summoned Venus. So no Parallel Exceed to summon our Harpy Lady. Let's see if we can still make her. we're going to activate Venus's effect 3 times to get our 3 shine balls. And let me organize the hand a bit here. I'm not sure if you guys can see that very well. I'll scoot it up. You guys notice our huge is there. Here's our hand. All right, so we're going to make our leap first with these 2 shine balls. And Leeb's going to activate her effect. We've already drawn Succession, or sorry, not Succession. We've already drawn Sorrows, so we're going to search Succession and set it, and we have our World Chalice in the grave, so we can just immediately activate it. And we're going to make a IP Masquerena right there. And then we're going to activate our World Legacy Succession to get our Imduk. And we're also going to activate our Monster Reborn to get our World Chalice Guard Dragon. And looky there, we have 2 wind monsters. So we're going to link those off into our Harpy Conductor. And we're going to set our Sorrows. And actually, we could have also summoned World Legacy World Chalice there when we linked off the Imduk, so I'm going to go ahead and do that because I'm not going to misplay again. This was summoned off Imduk's effect. And now we have a bounce, an Omni Negate, and the Succession. Monster effects will no longer work on our opponent's turn because we're going to slam this during the standby phase. And we have something that can Omni-send, and we also have, as a bonus, you don't always have this on the board, but we can send any extra deck monster they summon to the graveyard, non-targeting, non-destroying, with the World Chalice. So that is a lot of negates that was also able to play through Ash. Also, we didn't need Venus. So I think that's pretty good for World Chalice. Anyway, that is, the video's long, so I'll end it there. Let me know what you guys think. I'm really excited to see if you guys play around with the Harpy Conductor, Harpy Lady engine that I'm trying out. I think it's a really good replacement for Called by the Grave. Maybe not quite as good going second as the Gamma package, but you know, you can side them if you want and just run the Gamma package with the Lambda. Nothing says you can't side deck extra deck cards. So yeah, I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. Hopefully this was a good source of inspiration for building more creative World Chalice decks, making your normal monsters work for you, and have a great weekend and Thanksgiving, guys.